Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. I am so delighted you're here with me today. Today we are going to be talking about all things Mercury in retrograde. Yes, I'm so sorry, but I said it. Mercury is in retrograde again. And for those of you who already know what Mercury in retrograde is, you probably are wanting to cry right now. Don't worry, I got you. Today we are going to be talking about how you can get through Mercury in retrograde with a little more grace and ease. What are some things you can do to get through this seemingly difficult time? So if you have never heard of this term before, Mercury in retrograde, I like to joke and say, oh, Mercury's in Gatorade or something again. What is it? What does Mercury in retrograde mean? And why are so many people afraid of it? Why do so many people scream and shake their head and cry when they hear of this term? So I'm going to explain that right now. Mercury in retrograde, it's actually an optical illusion. What it is an astrological event where, because of its proximity to the Earth, Mercury appears to be rotating backwards, but it isn't actually rotating backwards. The planet Mercury, though, has to do with communication, travel, and creation, and it also affects the way that we connect with ourselves and each other. So when Mercury goes into retrograde, we end up seeing things like electronics going haywire, and I can tell you from personal experience, just this past week, my television, I was trying to watch using the Amazon Fire Stick, and just weird things kept happening, and my remote wouldn't work, and it wasn't the batteries, and it would just stop periodically. And actually, one of the shows, the voice sounded like this. It was all warped, and it was weird. The sound wasn't off. At one point, no picture was showing, but the sound was going. I'm like, what is happening? And then I realized, oh yeah, it's Mercury in retrograde. So electronics may go haywire during this time, and it's because the planet is connected with all things involving communication. And what is the internet? It is a big system of communication. So you may see electronics going haywire. You also may see miscommunication happening between yourselves and others. So you may be experiencing arguments or disagreements with people in your life. And again, it is because Mercury deals with communication. So you may be misunderstood, or you may misunderstand someone else, and that may cause miscommunication. You may also have a difficult time getting your own words out. I did a video reading before I did this podcast today, and I had to do it over twice, and it still wasn't great. I still was not happy with it, but I thought, all right, I'm just going to put it out there because there's something going on right now that's just making this a little harder for me, and people need to hear this message, so I'm just going to put it out there. But it was really difficult. I kept stumbling over my words, and it was hard to read the card. I'm like, what is happening? This is not normally what happens when I sit down to do the card reading. I don't have this much trouble ever. And again, all things communication are involved with Mercury. So when it's going retrograde, things can tend to go haywire. Another thing is that this is a time where they say that maybe you shouldn't be signing any documents, any contracts, or read over them, because again, things can be miscommunicated or misconstrued, and that can cause you to sign for something that you didn't realize the contract was actually saying. So just be very careful around this time. And I'm not one of those people that would say, don't ever sign a contract during Mercury in retrograde. That's not even possible to do that, because, if you have to buy a house or a car or get a job, you do have to sign contracts during this time, but they are saying to be extra careful during this time when you sign those contracts, and to read over them very, very carefully. So what can you do to get through this time? Because when you're in Mercury in retrograde, it feels like everything kind of moves slowly, and I just feel like everything that I try to do takes 10 times longer, because either the equipment isn't cooperating, right? Like the internet, it goes down, or apps don't work right. Or if I'm trying to do something myself where I'm speaking, I have a difficult time doing that. When I'm trying to communicate with others, I have a hard time doing that. So it just feels like it makes life really difficult. And I think that's the reason that most people hate when you say Mercury is in retrograde, because it just feels like life gets a little bit harder. And if you're like me, I'm one of these people that when things get a little more difficult for me, it frustrates me. And I think to myself, why are you making something that's already difficult 15,000 times more difficult? Why do you have to do that? So what can we do when Mercury is in retrograde and we start to feel off? Because the energy just feels off. It does to me anyway. How can you get through it? So the very first thing that you need to do is to make sure that your energy is grounded and balanced. And there are a few ways you can do that. One of the first ways is just quickly, just close your eyes wherever you are and take 3 deep breaths. Deeply breathe, deeply inhale and exhale. Do that 3 times. And then imagine a beautiful light coming from above and just running through your entire body. And perhaps you even feel tingling or warmth as this light is running through each and every part of your body. And it goes all the way through your body and then out through the bottoms of your feet. And imagine it going into Mother Earth, very deeply into Mother Earth. So ground yourself in where you are, in the here and the now. So that is a really quick way that you can get grounded. Some other ways to get grounded are to go outside into nature and to walk barefoot on the grass. And just, it's called earthing. Just get your feet in the grass and just take a moment and stand there and just appreciate being outside. And this is so much easier to do when it's sunny outside, which it was here last week for all week. And then the temperature just dropped again, which is lovely. But if you can feel that sun on your face and the cool, soft grass on your feet, it helps to keep you grounded in the here and the now. There are also a lot of really great guided meditations. I have some on my YouTube channel where you can go and just replenish your energy. I have one about calling back your energy. That's a great one to do too. And someone once said, well, should you transmute the energy that you call back? Yeah, if you want to, sure. Just imagine that that energy is being transmuted, because sometimes the energy we put out isn't always positive, right? But we're bringing back only positive energy. So imagine that all that energy that comes back to you has been transmuted by the universe, by divine, by your creator, and made into beautiful, healing, and loving energy. And it's coming all back to you to now fill you and ground you in the here and the now, so that you are more grounded and centered in your life and balanced. Because one of the things that happens when we get frustrated throughout the day is it depletes our energy. We're all made up of universal life force energy. And as things happen to us that, someone says something nasty to us, it depletes a little bit of our energy. So it's important to call back your energy every day and to call back that, again, loving and beautiful healing energy back to you and to ground yourself. Another really great way to sort of release the stress and the worry and all of that is just to do a few yoga poses in the evening. Now, you don't have to do a whole yoga routine, but you can. And listen, they have free yoga videos on YouTube. Just go do a search for that, or go to Pinterest and just look up some yoga poses to do and do some stretching before you go to bed in the evening. That will really help you to relax and to get rid of some of that stress too. Those high stress levels and high cortisol levels, those are the things that really age us. And if you're like me, going through midlife, it's been harder to lose weight and do those things because I feel so stressed all the time. Your hormones are kind of out of balance. So it's important to take care of that too. I'm really excited because I have a woman who's going to be coming on this show, and she's going to talk about how we can naturally balance our hormones so that when we're going through, like for women anyway, and I think men experience a similar thing, we just don't hear about it as much. But when you're going through menopause or perimenopause, you tend to feel just not like yourself. Your hormones are all out of whack, your emotions are all out of whack, and then you start to gain weight. And it's all related. It's all related to those hormones and to stress and all of that. And she's going to come on and tell us about how we can get more into balance naturally. And I've been learning quite a few things myself, and it's really a big part of it is about not being stressed out, because being stressed produces cortisol, and if you have high cortisol, that is going to throw everything out of whack. So doing yoga is a great way in the evening to really de-stress, or just doing some stretching. If you're doing really aggressive, high-impact workouts, that might actually be adding more stress to your body. So you want to do something that's relaxing. Go for a stroll, a walk outside, and as you're doing it, don't just walk, but walk mindfully. Either listen to something positive while you're walking, or look around you, notice the blue sky, the green trees, the beautiful flowers, smelling the flowers as you walk by. A mindful walk is really, really great for you. So go do something like that. Make sure you're doing your self-care. That's so important. I know I have felt tension in my neck and upper back lately, and so I have a home like back massager, like one of those pads that you lay on, and I hadn't used it. It's been sitting there. I didn't use it I've used it a long time. I forgot about it, and then I was like, oh, you know what? That might be very helpful right now. And it put heat on my neck and my back and then massaged it. I was like, okay, I should have been doing this like every night. But we just get so busy in our lives, we forget to take care of ourselves. And that's something that is so important, is to keep up your self-care. Go get a massage somewhere, go pamper yourself. I like to take a hot bath in the evening and listen to some soothing music with candlelight. It's very, very helpful. Put a little Epsom salt and some essential oils in there. One of the things we're selling at this pop-up market that we're doing where I live is we made some homemade bath salts, and we put different like relaxing, soothing essential oils in them to really help people when they get home in the evening to just de-stress, because that is so super important. What is it that really helps you to relax? Maybe calling up a friend and having a conversation where you laugh, go grab a bite to eat with that person, read a good book, watch something funny on TV, whatever it is that you do. And I like to tell people this: have a list of things that really make you feel good. Have that list, come up with it, put it in a journal or whatever. And when you're having a bad day, go to that list and pick one or two things. Pick more than that if you want, but pick at least one or two of those things and go do them. Like, make yourself. Okay, I'm forcing myself to take time for myself, because if you're so stressed out and burned out, you're not being productive, even if you think you are. You've got to take the break. You need rest. You've got to take time for yourself. That self-care is critical, and especially right now with the energies being so heavy. So I love the idea of having that notebook, or if you want to make it more fun, you can put it on strips of paper and put it in a jar and just pull out a random thing. For me, I just use the book. I think that's good enough. And I just look at something, I'm like, okay, these are the things that I really enjoy doing. I enjoy reading a good book, so I pull that. I find the book I want. I usually read something uplifting. I find the book, and then I spend time just curled up, relaxing with maybe a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something that I really enjoy, and I just read the book. And it feels so good. Like yesterday, I fixed up my yard, and that was so enjoyable to me. It was work, but the end result, I was so happy. I'm like, yes, this looks beautiful, because my goal is to transform my backyard into a little mini oasis for myself. And it's not going to cost a lot of money, because I'm going to do it a little at a time. And all it's going to take is my own manpower, which is fine. But if you have the money, hire somebody to fix up your backyard or fix up a spot. Create a spot just for you, whether it's in your home or outside your home, whatever it is. I have to say that I love this, but my son bought himself a hammock and has put it up in the backyard, and I see him, he just goes outside and he lays in it and just looks up and relaxes, and it's so cute to see that. But he understands the importance of taking care of yourself too. So get yourself a hammock, lay out in the yard, whatever it is that you need to do. Take time to truly appreciate where you are right now and all of the blessings that you have in your life, because Mercury in retrograde will pass. And if you're having miscommunication with people, you can call on Archangel Gabriel, who is one of the ones in Archangel Raguel, to help with communication. When I have to have a conversation with someone and it might not be one that I want to have, or if I've had a miscommunication with someone, I always call on Archangel Gabriel and I ask, if I have to have a conversation, I ask, please help my words be understood in the way, with the intent that I mean them. And when I've had a miscommunication, I ask, please allow this person to understand my heart and to understand what my true intentions are, so that we can get through this miscommunication. Because again, this really is a time that those things happen. And it's all because Mercury has to do with communication. So maybe even praying to Archangel Gabriel before you even leave your house that day, like all communication is going to go through flawlessly with no hiccups. It really does help to think about things like that. And taking extra care of yourself, whatever it is that you need to do. And journaling is also another great thing and a tool that I like to use a lot. So if you're having a rough day, maybe coming home, writing about it, and then letting it go. Because what happens is when bad things happen or they don't go our way, we tend to stew about it, right? We think about the whole day, that one thing that didn't go our way, or the 5 things that went wrong today. Write about it, get it out, because then you're getting it out of your brain and then you can let it go. Because we don't want to focus too much of our time or attention on the things that aren't going right, because if you believe in the law of attraction, which I do, then we're going to be attracting more of the stuff. It's easy that once you get into that negative mindset to keep going down that rabbit hole of the negative self-talk, the negative thinking. So you've got to shift yourself out of that. So write about it. What happened? Why didn't my day go the way that I wanted? And now what am I going to do to make that different? It's going to stop right here. And from now on, it's going to shift, because I'm going to start by thinking about all of the good things that happened to me today and all the things that are coming in for me and all of the possibility that all the good things that can come in for me. And we kind of shift that thinking, because you don't want to stay in that spiral for too long. Of course, we're all going to be frustrated at times, but you don't want to stay in a place of frustration. It's more putting ourselves in a mental prison than anything else, and that's not fun. So you've got to shift yourself out of that. And there are some great writing prompts to help you shift yourself out of that. The first one is, in what ways is my life fulfilling and satisfying? What blessings did I see today? What proof is there that life is beautiful? Look around for those things. There's always proof. To me, spring is proof, right? We've been in this winter and it's been cold and everything has died here. And now in the spring, I'm starting to see the green leaves on the trees again, the beautiful colors of the flowers that are blooming. To me, that is hope, that good things are coming, right? If things aren't where you want them to be, there's still hope that beautiful things are coming and that they are going to be coming to you. I like making vision boards too, because I think it's a lot of fun to play around with that and to say, okay, if I could have the home of my dreams, what would it look like? If I could have the job of my dreams, what would that look like? What would this look like? Because a lot of manifesting is not only about visualizing and seeing what we want, but feeling what it would feel like to have those things. And that's just kind of a fun thing to do too, to daydream, right? As a kid, I love to daydream. We need to do more of that as adults. We need to daydream about all of the things that are possible for us, because anything is possible. if we just have the right mindset and focus on the right things. So don't lose hope that Mercury is in retrograde. It will, of course, it will end, as all things. It will end. And so it's just really important right now for you to take care of yourself, take breaks when you need to, replenish your energy. You can do that through meditation. You can do that through EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And we just had a wonderful guest on talking about how EFT can help with empaths. Just do a YouTube search for EFT. And whatever you're trying to work through, pick that emotion. Brad Yates, Yates, he has a lot of really, really awesome EFT sessions on YouTube that are totally free. You can go and look for them, and, before you start, on a scale of 0 to 10, measure how much you're feeling that emotion, whether it's frustration, like how frustrated are you right now? Okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm at a 10, I'm super frustrated. Do that EFT tapping, and then how do you feel now? Okay, and I'm not quite down there, I'm at a 5. Okay, do it again. Now how do you feel? And do that until you're as close to 0 as possible. Journaling, again, is a great way to get your feelings out. What am I feeling? How can I change how I'm feeling? Is there anything I can do? And with the frustration part, is there anything I can do to get past the frustration that I'm feeling? And if there's not anything that you can physically do, then stop thinking about it. Like, don't obsess over it. Let it go because it's out of your control. Try to be more in the energy of being in flow, not trying to control every little thing that's happening to you. And I know that's easier said than done, but it is necessary. So be more in flow. Let little things go, especially if they don't matter in the grand scheme of things, and be willing to let that stuff go. Take deep breaths and ground yourself. You can do that quick little grounding exercise where you just take those 3 breaths and imagine the light coming down into you. If you take showers in the morning, you can do the shower meditation where you imagine that all of the water coming out of that shower head is actually rays of beautiful, loving, healing light coming out into your whole body, and it's rinsing away all of the negative energy that you've stored up in your body, and it's all going down the drain, and you're being replaced with that beautiful, loving, healing energy. That's a great thing too. You can listen to uplifting music or listen to those angel frequencies, the solfeggio tunes and tones. Those are on YouTube. There's one too that's super amazing for raising your vibration. That's the 6 hertz binaural beats, theta waves. You have to listen to those with headphones in, because if you don't have headphones in, you won't hear it. But if you have headphones in, listen to the 6 hertz binaural beats, theta waves. It's supposed to be really, really good at raising your vibration really quickly. So listen to that while you're working around the house or working at your job, even, to help you kind of raise your vibration. Do a lot of self-care. Self-care is so important right now. It really, truly is. But you will get through this, I promise. So I wanted to pull a few cards for you today to give you some guidance for the week. And I pulled some cards from the Angel Prayers deck by Kyle Gray. And the first one that came out is Love and Accept Yourself. Thank you, angels, for lovingly guiding me to self-acceptance. It's so important right now for you to love yourself, even if you think you have flaws. I mean, everyone has flaws. There are always ways we can work on ourselves. But you need to love and accept who and where you are right now, because you are made perfectly. You are just as you are supposed to be. Again, we can always improve ourselves, but we're perfect the way we are right now. And you need to love yourself and accept yourself for who you are. And then you have Shine Your Light, Archangel Uriel. Thank you, Uriel, for helping me to share my light with the world. You are being asked right now to be a light in the world, spreading kindness, and especially to yourself. The biggest way that we can be an example to others is to take care of ourselves and to be good to ourselves. And when we do that and we're doing the work on ourselves, other people see that and they say, "What are you doing? Like, you seem so happy. I want to be like you." that's how we really shine our light and we spread our light. Just be who you are and be good and kind to yourself as well as others, and you're going to be that beacon of light for others. And then you have trust your vibes, which is so important right now. If something feels off to you, trust that. Thank you, angels. Today I choose to trust my intuition and your guidance. If something doesn't feel right to you, trust that. You have been given the gift of intuition. You have your own internal GPS system, and it is there for a reason, and you should be trusting that. Just because someone else may say, hey, this person's blah, 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 if you feel like something's off, trust that. If something feels like a good opportunity to you, trust that. People are always going to be cautious. When you ask others for advice, should I take this opportunity? Should I do that? People will say things to you like, no, you better watch out. I don't know. I don't think that's for you. Stop asking others and instead go inward. Ask yourself, ask your higher self, is this for me? Does this feel like a good opportunity? And listen and trust what you're getting, because the first 3 seconds, that is your intuition, and it's not going to steer you wrong. And then you have study and learning. Thank you, angels, for allowing me to see that every day is a learning day. Every situation we go through is an opportunity to learn. I used to say, if I had to go back, I would never do X, Y, or Z. I would never do that again. I don't say that anymore because I realize that everything we go through is an opportunity for us to learn. And even if it didn't go in our favor, we learned something and we grew from that. And that's the whole point of why we are here, is to learn and grow. So instead of being angry and bitter about the opportunities that didn't pan out for you, or the choices you made that maybe you didn't think were right in the end, it's okay. You did that because you needed to learn something, and that failed whatever it was, or whatever you perceive as failing. I don't think anything is failing. Failing just stands for first attempt in learning. You were learning something. So if it didn't work out, don't beat yourself up over it. Instead, ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? Because that is where you will gain so much insight and wisdom. Try to leave the pain of that behind and instead take the lesson with you and allow it to help you in the future and move you forward so that you can be better. Because there's always, always room for growth and improvement. And everything that we go through is an opportunity for more growth and for improvement. So take it as that. Don't beat yourself up. Know that everything happens for a reason, even if we don't always understand what it is. If we get curious about it and ask ourselves, what did I learn from that experience? We'll find the blessing in the lesson. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. I would love it if you would join us over on Patreon. You can sign up for a free trial. It's a free 7-day trial, and in that trial, you will have access to all of the amazing content that is already over there on Patreon, like the extra podcast episodes. You will also have readings and meditations over there, and you can join us on Mondays. We do a live card reading, and you can join us for that and check it out and see how it is. I do card pulls for each person that comes on Monday night. We meet through Zoom. I ask them what kind of message they would like, if they want a general or if they would like a specific reading. And I do a reading for each person that shows up. And it's just a great community. We have so much fun, and it's such a loving and supportive community. And the women there, and we have a man over there too, help one another in their everyday lives. It's a great community, a great place to be. I would love it if you would join us over there. You can click on the link that's in the show notes. Don't forget, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave a positive review from wherever you're listening. And the greatest compliment you can pay me is to share this podcast with anyone you think might benefit. I hope you all are having a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. I am sending you guys so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.